morning. This is Lewis Williams, Keller Williams Real Estate, and it's time for Monday's Marketing Moment. Today we're going to cover some information on what questions to ask your listing agent when you sit down with them and you're interviewing. Typically people want to interview 2 or 3 people to make sure they're making the best possible decision for themselves. And I want to run through a couple of questions that always come up in my listing presentations that I feel are good, adequate questions for sellers to know before hiring the people that's going to be essentially working with the biggest asset most people have. So the first question here is, will I get updates on my real estate activity? Clearly, communication is always a big deal for most people. My team prides ourselves in this. Every time there's a showing on the property, we text, email, and call the agent repeatedly until they give us an answer on what their buyers and the agent actually thought about the house. Are we priced appropriately? Did the house look good? Was it staged properly? How did it look up against the other competition? This type of information is crucial for us to continue to make sure that we're one of the best available properties available. Okay. How many online search engines or websites do Keller Williams agents and ourselves actually feed into? The good news is when you pick a Keller Williams agent, you're choosing a company that actually services 3 to 4 times more than any other broker in our area. We market on nearly 900 independent real estate related websites to get your house maximum exposure. And why is this important to you? We know that 9 out of 10 people start online. So it is crucial these days that we have, at literally the touch of a button, online, on their cell phones, ways to find your property and know that it's available. So yeah, obviously search engine optimization, online search engines, all that type of stuff is extremely crucial. How many homes have you sold in the last year? You certainly don't want to be hiring an agent that just does this on a part-time basis or only sells 4 or 5 houses a year. Most agents, believe it or not, the average agent sells 6 to 8 homes a year in the greater New Orleans area. You want to make sure you're choosing an agent that's very skilled in this and does it on a regular basis. Luckily, my team sells upwards of 200 homes a year and has consistently done that for the last 6 or 8 years. So getting somebody that actually deals in high volume, sells a lot of houses, are just going to put yourself in a better position to ultimately sell the home and be consulted on a high level. What is the average days on market that most of your houses are listed? Now, this can be a very generic question. Overall, the houses that we sell sit on the market about 35 days. But that's not really apparent to a seller. You want to know what's your average market time in the exact location, because all markets are local, and it's crucial that you actually know in your local market what's the average market time and what's that agent doing in that location in reference to that average market time. So for example, the average market time is 60 days for all average agents, and our market's 35 days. Obviously, you're going to make more money because the house is going to be on the market a shorter amount of time because of that 30-day difference. You're not going to have that additional carrying cost. So make sure you're making relative statements on your location and what their market time is in their sold listings in that zip code, for example. All right, can you provide me a written step-by-step marketing campaign? So many agents just put it on the multiple list, put a sign in the yard, and pray that another agent sells the property. And that is not how we operate at the Williams team. I have a full-time marketing specialist that I pay in-house over and beyond what Keller Williams has to offer to market my properties. It has become a full-time job with social media, marketing, promotion of these properties, and getting full maximum exposure to the homes that I've decided to hire a full-time employee that does that. Holly does all that work for us. She makes sure she is constantly promoting and pushing that property out there so everybody knows that the house is available, that it's a great buy, it's a great value, and it's going to put ourselves in a better position to sell in a reasonable amount of time. Okay, what is your percentage of listing sales that actually expire and come off the market? Most people don't know that about 50 to 55% of homes that are listed in the multiple list actually do not sell. There's a lot of different reasons that happens. Price, condition, location, the agent they choose, is the buyer that are making offers on there not in position to buy the homes? Do the seller's plans change? Do the sellers sometimes create a little bit of a challenge to get it sold? All these different factors play into that. But knowing that only you have essentially a 55% chance selling compared to the average agent in the area, you want to know what that agent's ratio is. Typically about 75 to 80% of the homes that we list actually sell. So you can see that far exceeds and trends ahead of the market because I think we do a good job, quite frankly. And we try to take listings that are sellable, that sellers are on board, that it's a team effort, not only between the customer and ourselves, and pricing and promotion and staging, all that stuff factors into it. So we want to make sure that we're putting houses out there that are actually moving and we're achieving goals of customers. Are you a full-time or part-time realtor? I hit this briefly a second ago. It is imperative in today's market that you're hiring not your buddy down the street, not the guy that just got his license, not somebody that you know that you're actually doing a favor for, that you're hiring them from a business perspective on who is most qualified to do the job. Everyone on my staff is full-time. We have 5 agents. They're all full-time. They do this round the clock, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So again, it is very imperative, because if you know that really only about 10% of the agents are doing 90% of the business, if you aren't aligned with that inside track at 10% or higher, you're putting yourself at a tremendous disadvantage. So that's my 2 cents. Hire a full-time realtor because it's a full-time job. Do you have a team that supports me? Or are you a solo agent? This is a huge value proposition for my team. We're a team, clearly. I have administrative staff members that help offset the busy work that slows an agent down from delivering on the promises that they make to their sellers. So probably about 10 years ago, I realized I couldn't be a jack of all trades and run this business as a solo practitioner. I had to start putting intelligent, smart, well-trained individuals around me, a staff that could actually offset some of the stuff that slows me down, so I can really throw myself at the end of the transaction that's more important, which is generating buyers for your sellers. You don't want us doing paperwork and chasing down different things from title companies or lenders or inspectors, when we can be out promoting your property, prospecting, looking for the next buyer for your home. What is your policy on responding to text messages, phone calls? This all goes back to communication. It is key that if we have an incoming lead, an incoming question from a seller, an incoming question from an agent, that we pride ourselves on responding as immediate as possible. And typically that is in less than an hour's time. Most of the time, it's usually less than 5 minutes. Where most realtors, you might send them a text message and you get a message back 3 or 4 days later. We try to capitalize on those opportunities and communicate at a high level. I hope some of these questions help you decide if we're the right people to hire, or at least at the very least interview for the job to help represent you. We'd love to sit down with you, talk to you, see if we're the right fit for one another. If you're interested at all, toss around the idea. No obligation whatsoever. You can reach out to us anytime. Shoot us an instant message on Facebook or give me a call on my cell phone, 985-237-0712. See you later, guys.